All right, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, it's time to buckle up. All right, there's no more playing around anymore. We're not talking about how many months we are away from the draft. We're talking about weeks, as in today we are 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. And this time next year, we're going to be talking days. I mean, we're almost there, all right? Everything that you have been waiting for is about to climax here in the 2025 offseason. And I can't wait to yeah.
And we all just love to climax, don't we? We all like to get to that point of full
I just
fulfillment.
Can't wait to be where I just can't wait to be together when we climax, and I am excited for us to be
climaxing together is the biggest
all
thing.
in the same stream, climaxing. So we appreciate y'all for being here. What's up, Daniel Macy in the building?
How we doing, baby?
NJ Casanova says ready for some more fast drafts.
Okay.
Joel says I need more fast draft in my life, so I love that you guys are loving it. We've got a chance to do a lot of fun things on today's stream. What's up, Shane? I actually saw you submit your team review for tonight. We will get to yours tonight. What's up, Fantasy Football Garage in the building? We've got Mike. We are here, brother. And Mike says, not gonna lie, these landing spots make me want to vomit. Yes, so we're using a 7-round mock draft from CBS for today's rookie mock draft. And I agree with Zach. This is like the realistic NFL draft where it's not all exactly what we wanted it to be. And some people fall out around one and some of it sucks and some of the landing spots are frustrating. So that's going to be very, very fun to watch. What's up, Michael in the building? Liam's here. Proofy is here. Albert, Bo, Jason, Joshua. What's up? Jason says, haven't caught a stream in a while. Good to be back. It's good to have you, my friend. Welcome in. Man. Welcome in. Guys, there are probably going to be 3 sections to today's stream. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and say anybody who signs up for a team review tonight for their team playbook, we're going to try and get it done tonight. All right. We're not going to put a limit on it. This is our last stream of the week, and then we'll be back next week. So we could have a big stream ahead of us. Appreciate y'all for being here, but we're going to jump into a team review real quick. As my camera just keeps doing this.
Your camera, you're about to say your camera just froze, but that's all good.
We're gonna have a 3-part stream, okay? We're gonna jump into a team review real quick. Right after we finish that, we're gonna jump into a sleeper rookie mock draft, okay? And then after that, if we reach a light goal, we'll get into some fast draft, real origin drafts. I know you guys are loving that. So it's a potential 3-parter. All right, a potential 3-parter. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Go ahead and smash that like button. Like goal today is 100 likes. With your help, I think we can get there. But again, I want to honor this team review quickly for my ball, Zach Ertz. Then we will get into the sleeper rookie mock. We'll talk about all of the landing spots. And again, if you're out there and you want your team playbook done tonight, which is a customized game plan for your offseason, right? We do the review live, and then you get this graphic afterwards. All you need to do is become a land annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a voucher that you can use through the Flock site. Just choose Akabadaki, and then if you want it done live, make sure you choose the live tier. Again, we have pretty much unlimited spots for tonight. However many are submitted, we are comfortable going ahead and getting them done for you across the line. We're going to start off with 1 here from my ball, Zach Ertz, and then again, after that, we're getting right into a sleeper mock. We'll talk about these landing spots, and then if we reach 100 likes, we'll jump into some fast drafts to end today's stream.
Love.
So, my ball, Zach Ertz, are you with us, my friend? Let me actually message him over on Discord. But why don't you go ahead and read the context for us?
Yeah, appreciate you, my bull, Zach Ertz. It's a huge, first of all, just a classic name. You know, everyone loves that name, and a huge supporter of the stream here and of Fantasyland.
Yes.
He says no 25
OG.
draft picks. OG, triple OG. No 25 draft picks, a 26 first, 27 first, and third. So he gave his draft capital. This is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 9. So just a classic meat and potatoes type of lineup. Line up 2 flex options there, and let's get straight into this team. You're currently ranked 3rd out of 12 in this league according to Zach's rankings here, and let's have a look here.
All right.
Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Milton. So good quarterback room. QB3 could be something that you might need, but that's okay. At the running back position, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, phenomenal running back room. Not phenomenal, but good running back room. Someone just sent me a trade from Breece Hall today. At the wide receiver position, you can start to 4 wide receivers: CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, with Brandon Ayuk on the bench, and Deontay Johnson with Mark Andrews, Dallas Goedert.
Goddard.
And you don't have Zach Ertz, which is just really sad. If he's not on the waiver
Yeah.
wire, you should pick him up, but I
Come
highly
on, man.
doubt
You
it.
can't say my ball's Zach Ertz and not have Zach Ertz. I mean, you need to send your first round pick for him. No, obviously not. No picks in 2025. So, I mean, this pretty much instantly, when we're thinking about a pathway for a team like this, puts you into a Windows open.
Windows
There's
open.
no reason
That's right.
not to go out there and compete right here, right now. Your starting lineup in a start 9 is Lamar, Hurts, Brees, Jacobs, Lamb, Higgins, Andrews, AJ Brown, and then you can start one more name between Derrick Henry, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk. In a start 9, you have plenty of depth to go out there and compete right now. So while you lack draft capital, you're in a strong position to go out there and contend. I don't think there are really any needs on this team. We can get specific about like maybe tearing off of Derrick Henry if we want to, avoid any sort of, fall off from him at some point. Mark Andrews, I view more as a buy. So this team is already in a very good position. Overall, team grade, I would probably lean, I'm going to say like A-, feels right. A-. Draft
Yeah, I'm
draft
there with you.
capital
Okay.
grade, I would put more at like a C- for your draft capital grade, because you just don't have anything to work with really. And then, like we said, this is very clearly a Windows open roster. Okay.
Well, by the way, he does have his 26 first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would still say C-. So you disagree then? Are you saying?
No. I was just saying, because we're putting in the Windows open, and normally a lot of that does
Right.
correlate to not having his 26 first, and he does have
Sure.
his 27 first.
Yeah.
So I was just making sure that you understood that. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think just with a lack of draft capital overall, I think you're probably best to go out and compete with a team like this. It has a lot of vets on it, like your AJ Browns, your Jacobs, your Henrys of the world. So yeah, absolutely. Now, you don't really have any draft capital to work with this year, so we don't really need to assess your draft capital right now. Names that you could potentially play around and deal with, like Derrick Henry, would make sense. I don't think you need to tear down from Lamar or Hurts. Ideally, you have a better quarterback 3 if possible.
Yeah.
I don't even mind the idea of trying to upgrade tight end either. Like, we could do a Mark Andrews plus your 26 first and see if we can go out there and get one of those big dogs. But as far as Derrick Henry goes, you don't need to trade him. But we talked about this on yesterday's stream. If you can pivot from a Henry to a Hubbard, Walker, there was a couple others. Let me look at my rankings in particular, because it's just easier for me to digest. So Hubbard, Walker, Cook, Brown, McCaffrey. I think those were all names that we would probably be comfortable to pivot to, just to kind of extend this window that you have right now. In a lot of leagues, you can't pivot to some of these names. I know Chuba Hubbard is definitely possible. We were in a startup draft yesterday, and Derrick Henry went ahead of CMC, so I'm not going to rule that as a possibility. Who are those other names? Hubbard, Chase Brown is probably not doable. But if you can turn like Mark Andrews in that 26 first and just go all in, can you go out there and grab a McBride, for example? You're going to have a late first. I mean, I think we would all pay a late first and Andrews to go out there and get a Trey McBride. At least I would be completely comfortable with that. Just kind of extend that window even further. Can you pay a late first and McBride, and then find a team that's stacked at quarterback and grab a quarterback 3 and a tight end that you're just as happy with? So, for example, this team has Laporta and Hawkinson. The issue is Geno Smith is just not going to work for us. They also have Njoku. Wow, that's crazy. I was going to say, can we grab like Hawkinson and a quarterback, but Geno's just not enough there. But what about trying to get an Achane in this deal? So we do Andrews, the 26 first, and Derrick Henry, right? And we go out there and try and get an Achane and a Hawkinson, for example. That's another option for you. Let's see. What's a team that has a good quarterback 3 that they could part with? McCarthy's probably too expensive. Tua Tags is kind of the range I'm thinking of. Issue is there's not really a tight end there that is interesting to us. This guy is Lawrence and Bowers. Bowers is going to cost a little bit too much, unfortunately. Purdy would be great. This guy is McBride. Is there a way we can get McBride and Purdy?
Yeah. We'll
So
probably
Andrews, that 26 first, will add. We can't really add Derrick Henry here. That might not work, actually.
no, that might that I was gonna say that probably doesn't work because McBride is probably worth 2 firsts.
Dak would
right
be
now.
perfect, honestly. If we can go Dak Prescott here, like a Prescott and George Kittle for Andrews, and yeah, I think you might be able to add like something small onto this to get this one over the line, like a, I don't know, if you have like a 27 second, for example. I'm assuming you have some second round picks. That could make a lot of sense for your roster. But again, either way, with any of these deals, we are addressing tight end for the long run, and we're adding pieces that are going to be incredibly helpful this year. Yeah, is there another trade that makes sense to you just before we go on to our next?
No, I think for me, I like the way this team is built. I don't think you necessarily have to sell Andrews if you don't want to.
I agree.
But obviously we're just gonna give you as many options as possible. You can just wait to see what happens and then compete in season. Maybe you can sell Dallas Goedert for something in season if that is the case. But other than that, I just think what you have here is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think if you can pivot
up
to any of these names from AJ Brown, like Rashee Rice, again, just trying to get a little younger as you don't have a lot of capital, want to avoid any sort of fall-offs in not only play but dynasty value. So if you can pivot to a Marvin, a Ladd, a Rice, you know, I think you would probably be thinking yourself in a year's time, you know, we're starting to see AJ Brown get to that point of his career where, whether it's right or wrong, because of his age, people are going to start questioning his dynasty value, right? He's 27. It's ridiculous to say that, but people are like, from here on out, people are going to talk about his age, as silly as it is, you know?
Yeah, people were questioning right when the season ended. Oh, AJ Brown's old, 27. He missed some time.
Yeah.
I mean, relax.
I even think you could actually be a Roma Dunze buyer too with AJ Brown. You might be able to do a 2-for-2 deal here. And I'm projecting a breakout for a Dunze, but we need to be a 2-for-2. So like a Dunze, this guy has first round picks, but we don't know exactly where they are. Could we get a Dunze Lawrence somehow in this deal? I don't know. I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
But do they need tight end? No, not really. Yeah, I mean, let's say that that's an early second, then, you know, that would be just fine. You know, early 2025 second.
Okay. That works as well.
And then we can do AJ Brown in a future third, for example. But yeah, those are some ideas if you want to pivot and keep this contending team, but get a little younger, you know, a little bit less concerned about the age as you have a limited draft capital. You want that flexibility going forward. But man, you're definitely competing this year. You're definitely making the playoffs. Even if a couple injuries happen, you have the depth to take that on. Mark Andrews is a great buy. The untouchables on this team are Jackson, Hurts, Lamb. The holds on this team would be Ayuk, and probably Garrett Wilson at this point. I would add there. You can drop plenty of names like Johnny Wilson. OBJ does not need to be rostered in MVS. Cam Akers, You can drop all those guys. And on the waiver wire, there's really not anything interesting outside of maybe you pick up Mike Williams. Maybe you pick up Miles Sanders. Those are the two names you could pick up with this roster. So
awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for the support. You should be receiving your playbook within 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy message system with everything that we drew up here today.
Yes, sir.
All love. It is not, and it's also not the last team review we're going to do today either. So if a couple extra more spots if you guys want to fill up today.
Yes. All right. Appreciate you big time, my balls Eckerts, long-time supporter, OG Day type of supporter. Like we said, we have quite a few spots available for today's stream if you want to get a team playbook in today right now. I'll put a link in the chat for you. It's also in the description. But you can either become an annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. and you'll get a voucher that you can use, or you can purchase one a la carte. Because today's stream is the last stream of the week, we are kind of giving you guys an unlimited opportunity to submit reviews. But let's get into what we're starting, the stream with, which is this rookie draft, and we're doing a mock draft, okay? So we are using the landing spots from CBS's latest 7-round mock draft. This was released on April 9th, so about 2 days ago, all right? And it's from Chris Trapazzo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but shout out to Chris. 7-round mock draft is no joke. That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of time and attention to detail. Now, we're going to read these landing spots in a second, but I imagine there are probably some people out there who want to get into the mock draft with us. How can they join this rookie mock draft with us, Badaki, if they wanted to?
Yeah, guys, join our Discord, and that link is in the description. I put that link in the chat there for you as well. Join our Discord, go to the Fancy Lad tab with the orange footballs, and go to announcements. That's how you can join each and every mock draft, whether you're watching now or later. This first come, first serve. All right, so keep that in mind. But I'll send that link out here. Get this filled up, and then we'll go and review the landing spots here. 3, 2, 1.
Scribble says, would $1 million donation be enough for y'all to stream on weekends? I'll do it. I'm an African prince. That's hilarious. What's up, G? He says, I plan on doing a team review, but would like to wait until the NFL draft to submit. Can I submit now with a request that y'all don't complete it until the NFL draft before my rookie draft? Look, up to you. Up to you. Whatever makes you the most comfortable, my friend. Whatever makes you the most comfortable. Whatever you want to do is fine with us. All right. Yeah. This mock draft is completely full here. All right. So let's have a look here. Let's can I just remove this ad so it doesn't take up so much of the screen? Okay, no, I can't. Can I? Okay. Well, that ad's going to be there, unfortunately. All right, so this is the latest 7-round mock draft from CBS. All right, so they have Cam Ward going 101. That seems to be a lock right now. We'll wait and see for confirmation on draft night. We've got Travis Hunter here at number 2 overall. Then we see Armand Mimbu jump up to pick 3. You know, a lot of people are believing he's going to go top 10. But you guys, I think you would have preferred to have Travis Hunter on the board, but the Giants land an offensive lineman there. Then we see Ashton Genty pick 5 overall. You know, with how important the run game is to Liam Cohen, I would not be shocked if this happens. But
nope,
I think the Raiders are more likely, but I would not be shocked if the Jags end up going Genty there. Ted McMillan to the Raiders at pick 6. This would surprise me. This would surprise me if he goes this high right now based off of all of the media currently around him. I'm not going to say that he's not worthy of it. It makes sense for their team. It's a perfect fit for a guy like Geno Smith, who is, like incredibly good at passing to these big body receivers. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, it would be a bad fit, but I do think it would be surprising based off the current opinion on him in the media. Shedeur Sanders goes 7 to the Jets. So they just asked Justin Fields this week. Did you see this? What would you do if they brought in a quarterback during the NFL draft? What did he say?
Okay, no, I didn't hear what he said. I heard about the interview. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, Justin Fields said, I don't need to answer hypothetical questions, right? Hypothetical questions don't matter to me right now. If they bring someone in, I'm happy to go ahead and teach him, but there's no reason in answering a hypothetical at the moment. Then we see Tyler Warren at pick 13 to the Chargers. I guess they traded up with the Dolphins in this scenario. Then we see Matthew Golden to the Cardinals.
Sorry, that is such like a, I'm a veteran. I've been in the league for 10 years, brother. You haven't really been established, and you're saying I'm not going to answer hypothetical questions. Come on.
Oh, we're talking about Justin, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I just feel like I get if Aaron Rodgers says that, a veteran quarterback, but Justin.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Colson Loveland to the Broncos at pick 20. Then we get Emeka Egbuka in round 1 to the Packers. They don't ever take a round 1 receiver in this scenario. They do. Then we see, is there another offensive player in round 1? No. Into round 2 where Jackson Dart goes to the Browns. Amarian Hampton to your Giants. Then Quinton Judkins to the Bears. Luther Burden to the Saints. Jalen Knoll to the Jets. Trey Harris to the Cowboys. Mason Taylor to the Colts. Jack Besh, the ideal landing spot. I don't know if it's ideal, actually, because I kind of said he played a lot like Puka Nacua, but I'm not going to be upset if a player I like goes to the Rams. Seahawks get Jaden Higgins, Trayvon Henderson to the Broncos, Bashal Tutin to the Dolphins. That is going to be interesting to digest in this mock draft with you guys. Into round 3, where Jalen Milroe is a Giant. The Chiefs get Jalen Royals here. Isaiah Bond, this is probably not happening anymore. He turned himself in. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was some sexual assault case, and he turned himself in. So I am confident he's going to fall pretty far down draft boards now. The Patriots grab Kyle Williams, Tez Johnson to the Chicago Bears. Then we see Harold Fannin to the Rams, Alec A. O'Manor to the Texans, Terrence Ferguson to the Bucks, Cam Scatterboot to the Chargers in round 3. I like it a lot. Ty Felton to the Ravens, Tyler Shuck to the Seahawks, DJ Giddens to the Saints, Jalen Lane to the Eagles. Torrey Horton lands in Tennessee. Into round number 4, where we see Elijah Arroyo to the Patriots, Dylan Sampson to the Raiders, Deontay Thornton to the Bills, stretching the field for them. Dallas Cowboys grab Caleb Johnson. He falls to round 4. Damn, that's crazy. Elijah Badger to the Panthers, Andrew Armstrong to the Bengals. Then we see Will Howard to the Rams. Let's see. Jaden Blue to the Chiefs as a little receiving threat out of their backfield. Last round we'll look at here is round 5. The Jags get Pat Bryant, RJ Harvey to the Patriots. Kyle McCord to the Cardinals. Quinn Ewers goes to the Colts. Tesla to the Dolphins. Brady Cook got drafted for some reason. Couldn't tell you why. Taj Brooks is a Niner. Let's see. Anyone else? Any of these other big names? Savion Williams to the Patriots. That is pretty much it. Again, if you want to follow along with the landing spots for us, I have pasted that link in the chat. This is a Superflex PPR tight end premium mock draft. Let's get this going in 3, 2, 1. All right. Joshua says Isaiah Bond went from trying to beat Worthy's record to being arrested. Chiefs receiver incoming ?
Oh gosh, I just think with it being so close, that's a huge risk for somebody to take unless it's like 6th, 7th round, one of their last picks on their board for them, and they might think of that as a value. But I also saw an interview with Howie Roseman. He was like, if there's any sort of case, he's just not even looking at that player. Have you seen that? Have you saw that interview?
No, I haven't, but it makes sense. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Kyron Lacey, but he had enough hype to be drafted this year. And then when that report came out about him, I pretty much haven't heard a peep about him the entire offseason. It makes sense that these scouts are already unsure about certain parts of these players' games. And then when the legal case comes in, it's just like, is it really worth taking on this, risk? Alex makes a great point. Unless it's Jalen Carter, who actually, that was pretty crazy.
That was, which is very interesting, because there's a massive contradiction.
Matthew says this is Bree's first rookie mock. I wonder where Bree is. Where is she on the board? Is she drafted for you at the 9 spot? Let me know. All right, yes. In the first 5 picks, we get Ashton Jeanty at the 101. Remember, he went to the Jags at the 5th overall pick. Where did Hampton go? Hampton ended up going early round 2 to your Giants. Then Cam Ward came off the board at the 104. Tet and then Cam Ward. Trayvon Henderson at the 105. Tyler Warren at the 106. I thought Tyler Warren was going to go higher with that landing spot, to be honest.
I thought so as well. And I also thought Cam would go higher as well. I think if Omarion does fall to the 2nd, specifically to the Giants, I think I think it would be lock Ashton Jeanty, Cam Ward, in my opinion. I think that's how people are going to see it.
Yeah.
Rather than it being the opposite, or what we're seeing here today, Omarion Hampton going at the 102 and Cam falling just a little bit.
Yes. Travis Hunter at the 107 could end up being a huge, huge value, considering he was the 2nd overall pick, and considering this team has already said they want to use him as a receiver. Now, you can make the argument, well, who's throwing him the football? That's a valid argument, right? But at least, worst case scenario, they went out and got Jackson Dart early round 2, right? Or that was them who did that.
Yes, early round 2, exactly, which is, I think that would be okay. You could see him.
Yep. Judkins
and all those fast draft ones I get.
Judkin comes off the board at the 108. If you guys remember, Judkin's another round 2 pick. He went to the Chicago Bears. Great landing spot for him. Colson Loveland at the 109. He was the Broncos' first-round pick. Egbuka was a first-round pick to the Packers. Burden went in round 2 to the Saints. That's probably my least favorite combination of draft capital and landing spot we've seen so far. I honestly hate that a lot.
No, I get it. I mean, that offense is in shambles. At least that team isn't, in my opinion. I don't love it at all. And then you get Miles High. Luke gets Shedeur Sanders at the 112, and he goes to the New York Jets.
Yes, which would be super interesting considering they signed Fields on a 2-year contract. I think we've seen Justin Fields with that type of pressure behind him before. And as much as I love Justin, I think it would probably impact him negatively. And
I agree.
I could easily see Sanders taking that job at some point.
100% within that year, within his rookie year. So, yeah, I completely agree. And there's some good opportunity. Like, the Jets have people. You know, it's not like they don't have anyone insignificant. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Joshua says Super Bowl winning kneeling champion Kenny Pickett is throwing the rock to Travis Hunter. That's who. All right, so put some respect on Kenny Pickett's hands. Okay, so round 1, we got to ask the question: who is the best value in round 1? I want to know your guys' opinions. All right, I want to hear it in the chat. A lot of great picks here, honestly. I mean, you can make a case that every pick that was made, they could have gone higher. Like, for example, Cam Ward, he could have gone higher. Tyler Warren could have gone higher. Travis Hunter, Judkins, Loveland, all these, Shedeur Sanders, all these players could have gone higher, which 100%. Means that, you know, it's a class that we really like at this point, even with a mock draft that's not necessarily ideal, I'd say.
I completely agree. If I had to choose, I would just say it's Cam Ward getting the 101 at the 104. With these specific landing spots that we have here today, I feel like I was kind of brought in on this rookie mock.
Yeah,
he should be locked in the 102 if Amarion does fall to the second, in my opinion. But then also Shedeur.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Shedeur Sanders is probably the best value pick in my opinion. I love Luther Burden, but if he's a round 2 receiver and you've got a round 1 wide receiver available to you, or round 1 quarterback available to you, I would find it really hard not to make that pick. You know, again, I don't have a ton of conviction on this quarterback class. I just released my final rankings today, which don't incorporate draft capital for the quarterback position specifically just yet. And obviously rankings will change after the draft. They should. You know, someone left a comment on today's video and they were like, I'm going to laugh so hard when your rankings drastically change after the NFL draft. And I thought to myself, like, why would they not change after the NFL draft?
I just think, like,
someone help me understand why that's
that's the point of the video, so you can see what his rankings is before the NFL draft, because we know it's going to change. It's kind of common. It's kind of common sense, brother.
Yeah, I just thought it was like, okay, I have a laugh, man. But yeah, I thought Sanders was probably the best value there. Colson Loveland, Tyler Warren are just probably going to have great rookie years in those 2 offenses, the Chargers and the Broncos, you know. So I love those fits. If the Packers actually go round 1 receiver, that will speak a lot to their intentions with that receiver, considering they haven't done it. What I really don't like is the fit with Egbuka and Jaden Reed. And I'll say Egbuka tested better than I thought he would. I definitely think he can play outside. If you guys watched my most recent video today, my final rankings, I put him in that wide receiver 1 conversation with Tet, Burden, McMillan, and Hunter, sorry, after his testing. And maybe he can play outside. He's a great, you know, route runner. But I think he's probably still best suited in the slot primarily. So I'm not sure how it makes sense with Jaden Reed. But a lot of people are projecting him to play outside at the next level. So that's certainly a possibility, right? But yeah, appreciate y'all for being here with us. If you don't know, we are using the landing spots from CBS's latest 7-round mock draft. I'll put that in the chat for you if you want to follow along. And we have a like goal today of 100 likes. If we reach that goal, we will do some real rookie drafts with the community. So if you want to keep the stream rolling, you want to see some real rookie drafts after these mock drafts, smash that like button, help us reach that 100 like goal, and we promise we will continue the stream for you here on our Friday, your Thursday night. Let's get into round 2 here, though.
Oh yeah, let's see this round 2. So
Scribble says
a couple people here.
Scribble says that's like JSN and Cup. It's definitely weird. I agree with the Reed and Igbuka combination for sure. Alex, I'm glad Alex didn't overreact. All he said was, "I'll kill myself if the Jets draft a quarterback."
You Jets fan, Alex? It's unfortunate, man.
Oh my gosh.
Praying for you.
Yeah. Yes. So Matthew, you guys probably saw that on Shedeur Sanders' profile here. It says -50 rushing yards. If you guys don't know, in college they count any sacks as negative rushing yards, right? So anytime you're sacked, that goes against your rushing yards. So a lot of these quarterbacks who are not dual threat guys, they end up with negative rushing yards most years. Like Shedeur Sanders, who I would say is not, he can move, but he's certainly not a dual threat player, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. Matthew Golden off the board. He went to the Arizona Cardinals in the first round. Not in love with that landing spot. Let me rephrase that. I'm indifferent. I'm not jumping for joy.
Yeah.
But the capital is there. Top 16 pick in the NFL draft there.
Yeah, I love the fit for the Cardinals as a team. But I don't like the fit for fantasy football, with McBride and here's the thing. I think that is actually the perfect situation for Matthew Golden to land in for his NFL career.
Sure.
Not having to be the number one straight away, being a complementary piece, stretching the field, making the defense think about more than just 2 weapons at a time. I think it's perfect for the Cardinals offense for his career, but for fantasy football, it clearly makes him the 3rd target at best in an offense that, we're already trying to see a breakout for Marvin Harrison. So, yeah.
Toughie, I hear you.
For sure.
It is a toughie. A big run of players here. Trey Harris to the Cowboys in the 2nd round, if I'm not mistaken. Jackson Dart to the Bears or Browns.
Yep.
Where did Cam Scatterboot do?
Scatterboot went in round 3 to the Chargers.
Ooh, that's kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Ooh, Caleb in the 4th round to the Cowboys.
Yeah, falls to the 4th round, but he gets the Cowboys landing spot. I think everyone's going to fall in love with that. So,
I think so as well. And then Jaden Higgins to the Seahawks in the 2nd round.
Yep, and that makes sense. They need an outside receiver. I kind of view Jaden Higgins more as a big slot than a true outside X, but he can win the way Keon Coleman wins, just with great hands. That's the difference between Higgins and Alec Manor, in my opinion. Higgins, while he might not be the best route runner at this point of his career, he's a good route runner, by the way. But he's, he doesn't win outside as much as you would want him to. He absolutely has like these ridiculous hands and, body control that helps him win these one-on-one situations. So after that, Jalen Noel comes off the board, who I slightly prefer out of that Iowa State wide receiver room. He goes to the Jets. Then Jalen Royals. Where did Royals go? He went to the Chiefs in round 3.
He went to the Chiefs in round 3. Yeah, and I was going to ask you, I haven't really heard too much hype about Jaden Royals. I know, obviously, early in the draft or the scouting process, he was kind of the big guy. Everyone loved him. He was going to be the value. And now, for me, I haven't heard anything. Have you heard any hype or people that like him or?
No, I definitely have. On Twitter, different scouts who love him on Twitter that I trust. Obviously, it was awesome to see Steve Smith was obsessed with him as well. And Steve is not shy in expressing that NFL scouts care about his opinion on his own show, right? He's said that many, many times. So yeah, I think in the past 2 weeks, I've heard
specifically the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, right.
No,
I think in the past 2 weeks, though, I've heard a lot of supporting hype for Jalen.
Okay, yeah. That's good. That's good.
I expect him to be a round 2 pick. I'll say that. I think Jalen's a round 2 pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes round 3, but I do think he's a round 2 guy.
Yeah.
Now, after Jalen, we had Dylan Sampson come off the board. And where did Dylan go?
He went to the Raiders in round 4, so they don't get Ashton Genty.
Yep.
But they do get Dylan Sampson in the 4th. I mean, I guess that's the type of value you can get, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy if you really think about it.
After Dylan, we had Jack Besh to the Rams, which is a strange fit because I feel like he would be best playing a Puka Nacua role in an offense. Not to say he's the same level of talent, but, just that, really aggressive outside receiver that can run block for you really well. I guess, why wouldn't the Rams want two types of players like that? Mason Taylor goes to the Colts in round 2. And then RJ Harvey to the Patriots in round number 5. Obviously, sharing a backfield with a guy whose job has already been shaky in Ramondre Stevenson. Not the same coaching staff that offered him that contract. So that makes sense to take a shot on him there. All right, I got to hear from the chat. Who do you guys think is the best value in round number 2? What do you think, Badaki?
I would say... I think there's 2 players. I mean, you're getting a first-round wide receiver, even though the landing spot is not amazing at the 2-1. But I also think Cam Scatterboot location is pretty significant.
Sure.
Going to the Chargers in the 2nd round, if I'm not, or in the 2nd or 3rd round.
3rd.
You just kind of know what that workload is going to look like.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I'll go Cam.
I think Cam's a great call. Yeah, see, Caleb is going to be so interesting because if you look at that 4th round hit rate for running backs, it's a huge fall off, man.
That's what I was
fall off from round 3 to round 4.
That's what I was kind of thinking about. I was trying to remember the fall off, and that's what I was going to say. Caleb, the landing spot is phenomenal, but I feel like that doesn't give me the confidence that he will be the guy then.
Yeah.
I
think that I would bet on him to be the guy with if that is how the backfield was shaping up with Javonte, Miles, and Caleb. I would bet on him. I think Caleb is worthy of being a 2nd-round pick in the NFL draft. I am a little concerned by the lack of belief in the draft community.
A lot of people don't see him in that light.
He, just so you guys know, round 3 hit rate is 50%, which is actually pretty decent, but it drops drastically to 24% in round 4. It's a big drop off there. The biggest drop off for running backs of any round is round 3 to round 4. There's a very significant difference historically between those two, but the situation is so tantalizing. Jack Besh, I really like here, round 2 pick to the Rams. Again, I'm not going to try and doubt if this happens, how Sean McVay plans on using these guys. I'm going to go ahead and trust that he's got a plan for it. But what do you guys think? Who's the best value in round 2? We've got a lot of people saying Caleb Johnson, right? Jamal says Caleb Johnson, CB, Scribbles, all on the Caleb Johnson train. Scatterby from WG, Golden from JC. He, ABC says Mason Taylor in the 2nd round in a tight end premium is the best one. Yes, unfortunately, no Raheem Sanders. Debbie Darling to, late round pick here. We've got Frontier saying Dylan Sampson is the best value here. And, he was someone who went a little under the radar, I guess, in our discussions there. Remember, he went round 4 to the Raiders. So not that different than a Caleb Johnson. In fact, he actually went a couple picks higher than Caleb Johnson to a similar situation where there is no clear guy leading that backfield. So that's a very good shout as well. All right, let's get into round 3. Like we said earlier, our like goal for today's stream is 100 likes. If we reach 100 likes, we'll pop off some real rookie drafts for you guys right after this. Be a friend, smash that like button. We're about 30 likes away from our goal. You guys have been awesome, and let's keep this stream rolling, baby. Let's get into round number 3. Alex says, I can't believe some bozo had the Jets taking a quarterback. He should be fired. Jamal says the Jets are going to Jets. Let's be honest.
The Jets are going to Jets, and that is very true.
Mike says, if Genty goes to the Jets and Hampton goes to the Bears, does Amarian Hampton become the new number 1 guy? It's an interesting question. It is for sure. Obviously, you prefer to be a part of that Chicago Bears offense, but we also have to remember that I think that the run game is going to be very important to the Jets, regardless of who is their starting running back. I know they want to go committee, but if they truly go a running back in the top 10, come on. You know, we're going to be okay to trust that running back. And
I would just say, if that actually does happen, I think it's pick your poison from that point.
I would still strongly say Genty based off of my prospect grade on him personally.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes down to your grade, I think you can go for that, but then you include the draft capital. Does it change the grade significantly on specifically the prospect? Probably not, but I just think that landing spot is a lot more intriguing. And if I saw Marion go at the 101 and Genty right behind him, I would 100% understand why somebody would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I guess you could make a case for it. I would just still be strong on my conviction in Genty. He's the only one I've given an elite tag to as a prospect in this class. So, but it would definitely start to test your beliefs, no doubt about it.
Yeah, 100%. Nice little run here. Jaden Blue going to the Chiefs in the 4th round. Tootin'. He goes to the Dolphins in the 2nd round. Yeah.
What's up, Jason? He says, boys, I have a question. I was trying to get your guys' team review with getting the Mother Flocker membership, but I'm not eligible to change my promo code to land. Any advice? Well, if you have changed it in a certain... if you've made your purchase in a certain period of time, they will allow you to do that. But it all comes down to when you actually made that purchase, right? So I'm going to send you a little link here in our Discord where you can talk to our developers and let them know that you want to change, and they'll look at your account. And if it's in a certain period of time, they will. But if not, they're not going to be able to. But it's worth asking. But also, you can still get a team playbook from us by purchasing one a la carte through the Flock store. You don't have to. You can still get one even if you're not an annual member, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but appreciate you, Jason, out of the way. Thanks for coming through, hanging out with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, in the 2nd round to the Dolphins is just
that's got to be the best value pick in the entire draft so far, in my opinion. For Tootin to fall to the 302, but to actually be a round 2 pick in this scenario here, I mean, come on.
You just don't know. And I'm assuming they trade up. They traded up for this pick, according to CBS. I'm not sure if it was a trade up or trade down, or that was just like a form of trade. But man, I think that would just throw a wrench in the whole works of where do you take Tootin in trying to really dissect that backfield.
Yeah, this is a great question from Jamal here. He says, is there any concerns with McDaniel's job security? I would say yes. I mean, they've gone all in for him.
But I don't see how, though. Sorry, continue.
Well, I'll tell you how, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've gone all in for him. They traded for the best receiver in the NFL at that time, and he built around Tua. They let him pretty much make whatever picks that he wanted to make throughout the draft. And his team has constantly underperformed. There's no way around that. Like, you can't be a Dolphins fan. Let me know. Are there Dolphins fans in the chat? Let me know. Do you disagree with this statement that the Dolphins have underperformed pretty much every year since he has taken that job? I mean, the expectations have been for them to compete. And every year they're getting bounced out of the playoffs, or they're not making the playoffs. Like,
sure. I think in my perspective, as of me watching the Dolphins, I don't think it was is huge, right? Because having a backup quarterback with someone like Tua with the concussions is a huge problem. But when the year of the concussions happened, when was it the Bills game, he left, came back, and there was a whole big thing. I think that was like one of the best Dolphins team for a long time at that time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be very wrong. This is how I'm just remembering it. I just feel like a lot of the situations that he was dealt with, he can't handle because of Tua, and that's his main quarterback. So I was like, okay, now you have to invest in a backup quarterback, which he didn't. He has Skylar Thompson for the past 2 years at that time. So
I think I agree with WG here in the sense of like the offensive genius tag is kind of worn off a little bit here. I think it's a little bit less like I'm sure Dolphins fans were thrilled with him as their head coach after his first season. I think now they're probably like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure it really matters anymore. Like you haven't delivered up to expectations. O-line was not good. That's fair, you know.
Yeah, but I do agree. Like they had the weapons around them. You know, you draft Waddle, you get Devon, you trade for Tyreek. You had a big offensive lineman that I think you let walk, or was it Mike Hunt? Did he sign to the Dolphins or
Mike Hunt?
Excuse me?
You said Mike Hunt. Great player.
A great player.
Great player.
Yeah, whoa. I said, you know who I said.
Yeah.
Hunt.
Yes, I agree. Mike Hunt.
He was the offensive lineman, right?
Yeah,
Is he playing for the Dolphins or was he...
Legendary. Legendary. I mean, if you ever go and play Madden Ultimate Team and you open up a pack and you got Mike Hunt there, it's like, holy... We're winning it all, baby.
Poor me.
We're winning it all.
Gosh.
Yeah, I had, I played in a church band growing up. I played drums in a church band, and one of the guys in the church band, his name was Mike Hudson, and oftentimes if people didn't know who Mike Hudson was, they would think you're saying my cousin. So you'd be like, yeah, Mike Hudson is going to be playing this Sunday, and they're like, your cousin? Like, no, my cousin, Mike Hudson. And then you start to like mess it up anyway. So
no, I get that. I'd be honest with you, I've never, until I moved to Australia, I didn't know that was a bad word because I've honestly never heard that word before.
That's
right.
Well, honestly, the funny part about being in Australia is it can be used as an insult, but it can be used as one of the most friendly
endearing
terms of all time. It's all about how it's delivered. You know, like if someone's just like is in traffic and is like, F you, and says the C word, right? Like clearly that's their intention. But if you're in Australia and someone says, oh, he's a mad, and then they say the C word, he's a mad, that is like ultimate respect in Australia to be called a mad C word. Like that is
I always
the ultimate sign of love and respect.
I always grew up thinking the F word was the worst word. Didn't say it for a long time.
Yeah.
My mom was like, don't say that word. And then I heard that word and I was like, wait, what? Ma. What happened?
One thing I wanted to ask is Ollie Gordon coming off the board here at the 408. Where did he go in this mock draft? I didn't really wrap my head around that. Did he not get drafted? Am I losing my mind?
I think he didn't get drafted.
Whoa. Where's the roll at? Where are these Ollie Gordon lovers? I mean, y'all gotta. I'll tell you, don't attack me. By the way, I need you to go attack this gentleman here, Chris Trapazzo. All right, this is who you're gonna go and attack. All right, not me. I didn't decide that. All right. Oh my gosh. And his name is Kobe Hudson. Oh my gosh. Joshua says, been hearing more that Hendo doesn't get out of the first round. I've been hearing that as well. If you look at the draft order, there are plenty of teams that you could justify Henderson taking at the end of round one. Genuinely, I believe that, right? Like plenty of offensive teams who could use him. So teams that would make sense to me, like Washington, I think could use him. The Chiefs could use him. I think you can make a case for Houston pairing him up with Joe Mixon. So yeah, there's plenty of teams that I think you could even have teams that might want to trade up, but I doubt they're going to trade up for a running back. But yeah, I could see that happening. He's got a skill set that suits most offenses.
People funny, man. Y'all funny.
The chat is on one today. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hey, be a friend, smash that like button. We didn't reach our like goal, but honestly, that's fine. Let's get into some real rookie drafts, I reckon, before we get into some team reviews. All right, so that was phase one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe to end phase 1, I'm going to ask you, who do you think is the best value in the entire draft? Let's have that be the final conversation for this rookie draft, a rookie mock draft segment here. Who do you think is the best value in the entire draft? That's okay. What do you guys reckon? Who do you think is the best value in the entire draft? Let us know. What do you think?
Very interesting. I think I agree with you too. In the second round, running back in the early third is pretty big. But you know, I just go back to, I think there's 3. I can tell you one each round, like we kind of did. Matthew Golden in the second, Tootin in the third, and then I'll still say Cam in the first. There is pretty significant.
Yeah, Tootin just feels like the obvious answer to me with the round 2 capital. And could you imagine a Tootin Achane backfield?
The magic wore off though.
And then Jalen Wright is still there.
And that's higher draft capital as well. So your Jalen Wright shares are garbage.
If that were to happen, Jalen Wright shares would probably be garbage at this point.
Yeah.
To be fair, the one thing that is concerning about Jalen Wright is the limited opportunities that he had last year. I don't feel like he really capitalized on the way that a Trey Benson did. Like, Trey Benson had limited opportunities, but he really capitalized on those opportunities. I don't feel like Jalen Wright did that. But to be fair, their entire offense was pretty dysfunctional without Tua. And, you know, it's hard to really judge too much of, like, the analytical metrics, considering their offense was pretty one-dimensional at that point. So,
yeah. And it makes sense. Like, unlucky. Get a backup quarterback, which I'm pretty sure they did invest in a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
All
right, gang.
Just in case Tua throws it up again.
There was quite a few people to start the stream who were requesting us to do this, and we want to do it as well because we have a lot of fun doing it. So we are going to go ahead. We're going to transition to do some fast drafts. This is real rookie drafts. This is not mock drafts. This is people putting their money on the line and saying, these are the rookies that I believe are going to score the most points in year number 1. If you haven't downloaded the FastDraft app just yet, you can do that on any platform. When you do, just use a promo code LAND at sign up. When you deposit, we'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. When you finish your first contest, I don't care what contest you jump in, DM me. I'm going to give you my rookie report and my season rankings for free. And if you are a member with the promo code LAND on Flock Fantasy, I'm also going to give you a free trade question voucher that you can come back on the stream and use at any time as a thank you. We've had so much incredible feedback so far from the community on this. I actually wanted to share one little piece of feedback. I won't say the person's name because I didn't ask them if I could share their feedback, but this was something that someone shared here recently. One of our long-term members on the Flock site said, I just wanted to say that I love the FastDraft app. I know you guys are careful and meticulous with who you guys partner with, and I appreciate that. You guys made a great call because I'm addicted. Happy for you guys and what you've built. And we've just gotten so much incredible feedback from the FastDraft app. So if you guys are out there, you want to jump into a real draft with us, it's a great time to go ahead and get into one. And it's really the only place that you can use your knowledge of the NFL draft and, you know, have an advantage for it. You know what I mean? So again, use a promo code LAND. We're going to jump into an Origins draft. If you haven't heard of what an Origins draft is just yet, it is a season-long best ball contest for rookies only. Okay? So basically, we're going to draft 6 rookies. Whatever rookies you want to draft, you can draft them. And essentially, there's a 20-second time clock. It's only rookies. There's no positional limitations. And it's full PPR scoring. You could actually read the entire rules and regulations on the FastDraft site for the Origins tournament. But we've been pumping them out. I'm very excited. I actually tweeted out yesterday that I think I have the winning roster. I think I have the winning draft. So
you think he has it?
I think I do. You know, so we can still play for second place. There's nothing wrong with that. But I came out and had a draft like this. I think it was our first time on stream. I got McMillan, then Scatterboot, Royals, Giddens in the 4th, and Kyle Williams in the 5th, Taj Brooks in the 6th. I mean, this is, I don't know. I think this is probably the draft that's going to win it all.
Ohio State.
The Ohio State Buckeyes. But let's go ahead and jump into one. Again, these are a great point of reference. Even if you're in a state right now that you can't play just yet, it's a great point of reference of seeing where people actually land on the NFL draft. So, for example, today I released my last rookie rankings. Let's go ahead and jump into one, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter tournament. Today I released my final rookie rankings.
Yeah, you did.
Before the NFL draft, and people were upset that I didn't have the quarterbacks higher, right? And I just tried to explain to them that, these rankings are really more for like your traditional home dynasty rookie leagues, and I will change those rankings when draft capital is, known at that point. But when you jump into an Origins draft, people are already saying, you know what, I don't have that luxury. I need to decide right now how valuable these players are, because I'm getting into a real tournament right now. Of course, I'm at the 3 spot, man. Can I please get a back end of the first? Oh,
you want to swap? I got the 9.
It would be awesome if you could swap. Hey,
it would be cool. All right, Daniel Macy at the 1. Dole is in. D. Leffler is in. Jay Casanova. And I don't know if there's anyone else. I don't know who. Casey, BMF. Let us know. Ben is in here. Smitty is in here. Let us know if you guys are in the chat with us.
What's up? SATX83 says downloaded it and used y'all's code. I love it, my friend.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
If you didn't get into a draft with us, let us know. We'll get into another one after this if you guys want. So Genty and Hampton come off the board. I'm going to go ahead and take Cam Ward here at the 103. Have enough exposure of him, but again, if we're asking the question, who scores the most points in their rookie season? Hard not to go Cam Ward there, assuming he's the number 1 overall pick, right?
Nah, I completely agree. Quarterbacks kind of give you a higher chance of scoring more points as well, especially if imagine last year, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams all in there, but
that was a much better class. But
of course.
By the way, Dynasty Daddy's in the building. What's up? Great website.
How you doing, man?
Welcome into the stream, guys. Welcome in.
How you doing?
So. You're right. After Cam Ward, we had Travion Henderson coming off the board there at the 104. Then Shador Sanders. Then we get Tet McMillan at the 6th spot. I'm seeing some new names with us, like Smitty33, Casey, BMF.
Yeah,
Ben.
That's what I'm saying. I want to know if these guys are in our community or they're just a bunch of random people.
I know
awesome.
The contest is getting much more popular right now.
Oh, Travis, I was hoping for it. Okay. Let's continue with some Caleb. Going to be a New York football giant there. Nah, jokes. Have no idea.
Matthew says, did you mention we get a free trade question voucher for doing this with you all? Yes, Matthew.
Yes.
And here's the deal, though. We can't give out free trade question vouchers on the Flock site if you're a member of a different promo code. But even if you don't have an account yet, you can create one for free with the promo code LAND. And then just DM me on Discord, and I'm going to make sure we get you a free trade question voucher either way, okay? But yeah, definitely. If you're a member on promo code LAND and, you've already, gotten, you've already downloaded it, please DM me. I want to make sure we get you that free trade question voucher.
Yeah. And if somebody has downloaded it and you don't have a Discord or Twitter, you can go on our link tree, which is in our description, and just email us. Send us an email saying like, hey, I signed up. This is my email. And then we can get that to you as soon as possible as well.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, with these signups, we are going to have more of a dashboard here in the future, but right now we're waiting on like every 3 or 4 days we'll get an updated sheet of who has signed up, and then I send out a mass email to you guys. But also if you DM me, I'll get it to you before that. I sent out a mass email last night to a bunch of people, and so that means Liam, you must have downloaded it in the last couple days. Is that right, Liam? Because you might not have been in that latest batch that I sent out.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I am going to go ahead and I want to get my null exposure up a little bit here. So we're going to take him here at the 208. Okay, you got it yesterday. So yes, I'll make sure I reply to your DM here soon anyway, but that's probably why you weren't in that first email batch.
It is 3rd round reversal. So we have a couple good lineups here. Big little run of wide receivers. Big little run. Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Trey Harris, and Colson Loveland at the 2-7. Just keeps getting later in the 2nd round that Colson Loveland's going. The fact that Zach almost got him there at the 2-8. So DJ Giddens.
I was salivating.
Yeah. DJ Giddens off the board there. I mean, I'm still getting. Like, once again, that's why this is the reason why I asked you. Let's go with Jalen Royals because no one is drafting him.
Please don't draft him. That's all I can say.
No, I'll draft him. I'll get him in the third round every single day.
Why do you think I was so excited about that draft I had on my Twitter? Because I got Jalen Royals in round 3. I think he's going to be a huge value in these fast draft tournaments. I really think he's going to be a difference maker in these leagues. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have drafted Royals only in the 3rd round. I had to check, but I'm pretty sure all the stock that I do have has been in the 3rd round.
It's not that crazy though if you think about it, because these are 10-team formats.
10-team leagues, yeah. But
so it's not that crazy in a 12-team. He's almost like late 2nd, early 3rd in rankings, I guess, for people. So I can see people justifying that, yeah. As Jack Besh comes off the board there, Harold fan. Remember, in these contests, you don't have any positional limitations. Damn it. Ooh, you know what? I want a lot more Devin Neal. I've never been in a position naturally to draft Devin Neal, so I'll take him there at the 308.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I've been trying to build up my stock, which I have. Got a little bit of him now, which is awesome.
We see Kyle Williams come off the board, who I was definitely eyeing up for my next pick. So D Macy sniping me. It's a great time to get him, by the way, because the ADP is going to adjust soon for our land community. Our land community is really loving these drafts. So very soon the ADP is going to adjust. I have no shares of Ollie Gordon. Should I do it?
Nah. Do whatever you want.
Nah, I'm going to take Richardson.
Do whatever you want.
89 does love Royals. That's right. Steve Smith does love Royals. Shane says, is Travis at the 103 too rich? Honestly, if he truly does go to the Browns at pick 2, and they've already stated they want to use him as a receiver, I don't think it's too rich. I've said this since November. He would easily be my number 1 wide receiver if he committed to wide receiver. So I don't think it's too rich. But you have to recognize that it is more risky than going a Cam Ward, than going a running back, than going a Tet. Like, you have to recognize there is still that risk baked in when you make that pick. So you can look at it both ways, I think.
Yeah, you can definitely look at it both ways. I personally, I think 103 is just that bit too rich. If Omarion Hampton is a 1st round pick, then I'm on the clock here. Let me just think first, because 20 seconds is way too fast, and I was going to take Ollie Gordon.
Fast draft, baby.
I'll
be on your toes.
I'll just draft Woody Marks. But what I was trying to say is, if Omarion Hampton does go in the 1st round, then I think it has to be 104 in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're not going to get pushback from me. Makes sense. You know, I actually did some research today about number 1 overall pick quarterbacks in the last decade. And essentially, I was trying to find out what is the superstar hit rate on a number 1 overall quarterback. And for me, for the quarterback position, that equates to a top 6 quarterback finish in points per game. So,
yeah,
if you look at the hit rate for a round 1 quarterback for star status, which is top 12, it's about 62%. If you look at the superstar status, which is a top 6 point per game season, for the entirety of round 1, it's about 35%. So there's a pretty steep drop off from that star to superstar status. Now, if you only look at number 1 overall picks, I just want people to guess. What do you guys think the percentage would be for number 1 overall picks, that superstar status hit rate? Again, if the entire 1st round is 35%, what do you reckon? Like, what would you guys say? What was your best guess? What is the hit rate on a 1st overall quarterback in the last decade? I want to know people's thoughts. I want to hear your opinions here.
It's not good. I'll tell you it's not good. At least I can. Who's in the last 10 years in the 1st round? Who has hit?
I'm not saying Burrow? 1st round. I'm saying the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, okay. The number 1 overall pick. Who has hit? Technically has hit.
Yes, you did hit on one of them. Joe Burrow was one of those.
Joe Burrow. Would you count Trevor Lawrence in the last 10 years?
Yes. Yep. Number 1 overall pick. Anyone who's taken number 1 at the quarterback position overall in the last 10 years, Trevor Lawrence.
But I'm trying to think has he hit?
Yeah, he has not hit. If you want to know the answer, he has not hit
Yeah.
superstar status.
I actually think it's less than that. Bottom dollar. I actually just think it might be Joe Burrow in the last 10 years. I'm trying to think of quarterbacks. So who went? Was it Baker Mayfield's been 10 years?
Yes, he hit on one. You got 2 out of the 3.
Okay. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield.
I may have set this up wrong because people are guessing way too low now. But you have hit 2 out of 3. I'm actually impressed, Badaki. 2 out of 3 you've hit.
I'm trying to. I can't think of the other one.
Like, didn't I send you this research today? Are you cheating right now?
No, you didn't. You didn't send me anything. What did you send me?
Okay, you have one. There's one left. There's one left.
I can't think of a quarterback who went.
Okay,
who
the
went
last
first?
quarterback that hit. There are 8 quarterbacks that have been taken number 1.
Yes, okay, it's Kyler Murray because Jared Goff. It's Kyler Murray.
So Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield have all hit. Now, if you want to know the truth, Baker Mayfield, he only qualifies for that his entire career because of his 2024 season. So it was almost far more grim. Goff did not qualify. Jameis did not qualify. Trevor, Bryce Young, and Caleb did not qualify. Caleb's a little bit unfair, though. So it's actually at 38%. 38% hit rate for a superstar hit for a number 1 overall pick quarterback.
Oh, 38%.
38%.
That was better than I expected.
Better than you expected, but my point was more that if you look at the superstar hit rates for a running back, from round 1, it's 86% for a star status, but it goes to 79% for superstar status. The drop-off from a quarterback hitting star and superstar status in round 1 is far bigger than a running back, right? It's almost 30% for running backs, and it's about 6% for, it's almost 30% drop-off for quarterbacks, and it's about a 6% drop-off for the running back position. That's where I was trying to lead the conversation there, but I might have set it up really poorly.
And that's okay. All right, I'm going to edit my booster. I think I might keep it all as the same here.
Yes. All right, I think we should get into one more here. Fast Draft. Do we got people who want to get into one more with us? If you guys are watching this and you haven't downloaded the Fast Draft app just yet, you can download it on any app store. Use the promo code LAND at sign up. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. When you finish your first round money contest, please DM me. I'll send you my rookie report and my season rankings, my cheat sheet. And if you're a member on the Flock site with the promo code LAND, I'm going to give you a free trade question voucher as well. You gotta DM me for that free trade question voucher, but if you want to wait on the mass emails that I send out every, let's say, 3 or 4 days for those other sign-on bonuses, you can do that. But link is in the chat. It's in the pinned comment if you want a direct link to download the Fast Draft app. Again, got to use the promo code LAND to get those bonuses. And if you've already signed up, and you accidentally didn't use the promo code LAND, you can go back and change it. Just message me when you do. We've had a couple people do that, and we've been able to hook them up and make sure they are Gucci. So that link is in the chat for you. Let's get into one more here. I'm going to go ahead and press enter tournament.
All right, let's do this.
Liam says he would have guessed 50 to 70% is what his guess would have been. Joshua says, I loved your Loveland to take today. I've been a big fan of Loveland all offseason. I think he and Warren should be viewed in the same light, in my opinion. CW says, how early would you take Tyler Warren in a 2-point per reception tight end league?
Oh, gosh. I mean,
you and I talked about this recently. Oh, my God. Can I catch a break, man?
Can I catch a break? I'm at the end. I'm at the end every time here.
Can I catch a break in any of these, dude? Oh, my gosh. I swear the app is doing it on purpose. It's trolling me on purpose at this point. I'm at the 104. If you guys don't know, pretty much all of yesterday's stream and today's stream, I've been in the top 4, specifically at the 304 spot, and it's pissing me off. But yeah, I think you could take him as high as like the 103 in that format. Full point premium, I think as high as the 103 to the 105 is where it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I completely agree there. So 2-point premium for tight ends. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You just might like in a startup, you just get all the tight ends early, don't you?
Yeah. So
That's
we
crazy.
had Genty and Ward and Hampton off the board, and now I'm on the clock. I really want to get my exposure up for a lot of these players, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take Travion. I could have gone. This is the problem. This is why I hate the 4 spot, because I could have taken 5 players there. I would much rather have just done that at the 110 or the 108 or whatever and gotten 2 players I love.
Yeah, for real.
Joel says, finally got the 101. Let's go. Michael says, still find it tough to take Loveland over Warren. We'll see where they land, though. Look, I can respect where you're coming from there, for sure. Ryan says, wouldn't Cam Ward likely score 15 to 20 points and Genty likely 10 to 15 points? If positions don't matter in FastDraft, seems like Cam Ward's a no-brainer 101. I think projecting Cam Ward to score 15 to 20 points is a little bold, I'd say, in my personal opinion. I mean, unless you view him as like a level prospect that we saw in last year's class, then I would agree with you, right? Like last year, I probably would have been banging the table for us to take Jaden Daniels really high in this sort of format. But I think, you know, the last number 1 overall pick that didn't pan out, I mean, was Caleb Williams for fantasy in a tournament like this. What did Caleb Williams average last year for fantasy football? Let me double check here. Last year, Caleb, who was a better prospect, averaged 15 points. All right. How about Bryce Young the year before? What did he average? Bryce Young the year before. Bryce Young might be a good comparison. Averaged 10.4 points per game. So I think you can make a case that it's easier to score points at the quarterback position. And if you have that kind of conviction on a name like Cam Ward, then I don't have a problem with you, doing that. And Ryan, brings up a good conversation. But I think we all feel much more confident about Genty's ability to impact fantasy from day one. I think that's where the difference lies for me at the moment.
Yeah, and I think, you just got to think back to the Bijans and everything. I think everyone was really confident Bijan was going to be the guy. Well, is. But, like, imagine being hesitant with Jahmyr Gibbs, right? What was Jahmyr Gibbs' rookie year? I forgot. Was he like a top 15 running back, top 20 running back his rookie year?
Yeah, he was, but he didn't really get off to the gates as fast as people wanted him to. If you remember, Montgomery was. Yeah,
was still.
He averaged 16.1 points per game as a rookie. So, I think it's a good conversation. You can make an argument either way. Really, I think it is, Ryan. Good convo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I did not. Okay, sure. On my screen,
took Ollie Gordon, and now we get to laugh at you.
On my screen, that's definitely a glitch, because on my screen, it just went to my pick and instantly picked Ollie Gordon, and I'm not on auto pick.
Nah, bro, don't worry. You're gonna thank yourself later when I'm wrong on Ollie Gordon.
I could have picked so many people. I mean, I would have taken Trey, Dylan, for sure.
You are going to be thanking yourself when I'm wrong on Ollie Gordon. Don't worry.
I would have been buzzing that I got Trey or Dylan Sampson in the third there. That's annoying.
Okay, so Dylan Sampson coming off the board after Devin Neal. By the way, is Perfect Season, is that someone from our community? Who's PJ DSN3? As we see Ollie, great pick for Badaki.
PJ wasn't PJ the guy that said he signed up earlier today?
Is that PJ?
Was that him?
I'm gonna grab some Bishop shooting here in the third round.
That was Stacks, I think.
User error. That's right, WG. Call him out.
Call him out. Bogus. User error, my ass. I want my money back.
I want my baby back, baby back. I want my baby back. Chili's baby back ribs. LKO Manor coming off the board. I like Chili's. Yeah, I like Chili's. Nice family friendly, sit down dinner at your local Chili's. Nothing wrong with that.
Nah, you just go to 2 for 1. You go to Applebee's, get the 2 for 1 margaritas, and then get just get the chicken, the barbecue like chicken little
Yeah.
poppers.
Yeah.
I'll call it a day. That was just.
SATX says, so there's no way of setting up a tournament with a code to only have your friends. I'm guessing what you're asking is have a link to compete against just your friends. Is that what you're asking? And I can promise you that's coming. That's something that we talked about in one of our first meetings with Matt from FastDraft.
Wanting
I can promise you that's on the way.
The community.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I promise you that is in the works, my friend.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, we've only been partnered with FastDraft and Matt for the last week or two. Obviously, a lot has gone into conversations of what we want to do, and where we see this going. So all that's going to come within time. But all these ideas are phenomenal, which we have already thought. And if you have any other ideas, please let us know, and making the app better as well, because we do have a direct connect with Matt and saying he wants to hear all the feedback as well. He wants to have this be one of the best apps on the market. So
100%. He's very open to feedback. So I took Kyle Williams, by the way, in the 4th round. I think that's a cheat code, but I was like, should I get my Isaiah Bond exposure up? I saw it was at 0%, and I was like, actually, I'm probably really happy with it being at 0% through all of our drafts so far. In fact, I wish that news came out later and I could keep letting him fall down those boards.
I have 7.1% of Isaiah Bond, which I'm pretty sure. I don't even know what that is. That could just be one share.
Could be, yeah. Yes, the Flock League is coming back, and it's coming back, and it will be. I don't know. I don't want to set the expectations too high, but the Flock League could be the best form of entertainment anyone has ever seen in fantasy football of all time.
Me, Jordan James.
So be prepared for that. All right, there is huge investment going into the Flock League this year. We are going to be going to Austin, Texas in August, specifically for the Flock League. And I'm telling you, I have high expectations myself.
I think, look, yeah, we don't want to set the wrong expectations, but just know that there is a lot of time, a lot of money that's being invested in this Flock League to bring you the best entertainment.
Yeah.
Last year we did it on a whim. Like, think about this. We did it on a whim and was like, oh, let's just all go to Austin and hang out for a week.
It was not organized. Really, we just thought of doing it for fun. We were really there to record content together. The goal this year is to actually focus on the Flock League itself and make it the best possible. But yeah, I don't really want any Isaiah Bond there. If I have to draft Quinn Ewers to get some exposure, I'll do
it. Dynasty says, Zach, you said last year you needed to be ready for the knockout, which is hilarious.
No, I'm not in shape yet. Definitely need to. I have this look, full transparency. Sometimes we don't go as personal as, as others, but
he's dying.
I'm not dying. We're all dying. If you want to be honest, we're all dying.
He's dying faster than others.
But I had this thing called spontaneous urticaria, chronic spontaneous urticaria, which is basically where your entire body breaks out in hives. And that's exactly what happened to me. My entire body broke out in hives. I was in the hospital, and that happened last year. And it might be workout induced. So I am trying to find a way around it at the moment to get in shape. So
eat healthier.
That's not the problem.
Eat less chicken.
The problem is when I work out, my body breaks out into hives. But the immunologist that I'm seeing says it's not linked, so we're going to try and find workouts that work for me. Shane says, I'm in Dallas. I'll see y'all in Austin. Let's go, baby.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Come through, Shane. Yeah, and I don't think Zach said it, but we are doing a meetup.
Yes.
We don't have an exact date at the moment, but we will let you guys know as soon as possible when that meetup is going to be, just to obviously meet some of you guys, all the supporters. We met a couple great people last year that support us, which was awesome. So yeah, if you're in the Austin or Dallas area, that you can come down, that'll be awesome. Meet you guys.
All right, so in case you guys wanted to know, the roster that's going to end up winning the Origins tournament, they took Henderson at the 104, Higgins at the 207, Tootin at the 307, Kyle Williams at the 404. Wow. They didn't realize it at the time, but they drafted Quinn Ewers, who was actually a 6th-round pick, and he actually ended up leading the Steelers to the playoffs. He did not expect that whatsoever. And then Kent Allen, who he doesn't even like, but some people love, ended up being a huge sleeper in this year's class. So in case you guys were curious how it all pans out, now you know. All right, now you have that foresight. So yeah, So I guess I'll ask this: did anyone not get a chance to get into a draft with us today that wanted to? I think we can go to some team playbooks now. But I want to double check if anyone didn't have a chance to get into a draft. SA, okay, you haven't gotten a chance. Let's do one more then. You ready? Let's go ahead and enter here in 3. Everybody enter Origins at the same time here. 3, 2, 1. Let's get into one more draft. If you guys are watching this and you have yet to download the FastDraft app, download it with the link in the pinned comment. I'll put it in there again. Use the promo code LAND. You'll get your deposit matched up to $50. That is about 10 free drafts on us. Or 5 Origins ones. When you finish your first tournament, DM me. I'm going to send you my rookie rankings, season rankings, and I'm going to send you a trade question voucher for free on the Flock site if you are using the promo code LAND on the Flock site.
We appreciate you guys.
And yeah, so let's get into one more of these, and then we will go ahead and jump into some team playbooks afterwards. SATX says San Antonio is only an hour away.
Hell yeah, come through.
Them big old women in San Antonio. Anybody know?
Big old women in San Antonio. What's
that's a classic from inside the NBA.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't watch that gangster stuff like you, man.
How is inside the NBA gangster?
I'm joking.
Sir Charles Barkley. Jesse.
That's so funny.
Canada's coming soon. We were told by the end of the month. Just hopefully you don't live in Ontario, because that's the one province that they're struggling to get on board. But as long as you live outside of Ontario, then you should be good to go by the end of this month. My camera is freaking out today.
Your camera freaking out now. It's all good. Oh, 1 spot left. Matt says you need my rankings. I definitely understand. I think a lot of people want my rankings, but I'll be completely transparent. Everything that I'm doing on the back end, all the cheat sheets and stuff that you guys are seeing, the graphics, all the other back end stuff that you guys see or don't see, I'm working on. And rankings right now is just really difficult to even do. Like I have my knowledge, I know everything, I can tell you where I would generally have somebody, but to showcase that on a week-to-week basis and make sure that's updated, it's actually really time consuming, as you guys know. That's why it might be a little bit difficult for me to do that, but appreciate you though, either way. I wish I can I want to like get back on doing rankings and making content and stuff in some sort of way, but at the same time is like what I'm also doing on the back end is actually so important for you guys. It says joining tournament but doesn't show the same screen as y'all. So weird. Stack. So what you have to do maybe is exit the screen or close the app. So I don't know if you have an iPhone, you know how you can swipe up and then make sure that app is actually closed. Close that and then re-enter, because sometimes it can be a little bit glitchy. So if that does happen, there's still one more spot. You could probably fill this last spot for us.
Yeah.
Evie, yeah. I actually thought about it today. I was like, oh, I can if I can set it up here soon, and then when Zach is gone, on holiday, then I can probably do it within that week for you guys. So
yeah. Hunji.
All right, it looks like we are joining one, which is awesome. But I had the 9 again. You're kidding me.
All right, I'll take the 7. Let's go. I like that. You like that? Is San Antonio with us? Maybe not. Sorry, bro. We'll be streaming like very often though. Don't worry. Just come back to the
Oh, he's
channel.
in. He's in.
Oh, is he? Okay, great.
Oh, that's awesome. But there's a couple new people in here that like I haven't seen Marv before. Marvin,
Yeah.
J3,
No, neither.
Figs.
Yeah. So Figs is in the building. So he is Figs.
Okay, awesome.
So he's at
You got
pick
the
10,
110.
which is great.
You're right. You're right next to me. Don't snipe me in turn.
He says, had to change my name. Dude in our league keeps posting in our leagues my comments. Oh, gosh. Okay. All right, so we get Genty at the 101, Hampton at the 102 by Joel there. Then Ben grabs Cam Ward, Travion Henderson at the 104, Tet McMillan at the 105 here from NJ Casanova, who Casanova is a fiend for Fast Draft so far. I mean, I love it. I think he loves it just as much as we love it right now. As my freaking camera, dude.
Yeah, right. You need new wire or something? What's going on?
What's going on? Honestly, it's frustrating.
Marvin is starving.
I'm gonna grab some Igbuka because I don't have any Igbuka yet.
Okay. So Tet, Shador, Sanders, and Mika and Buka off the board now. PJD is on the clock here. Let's see who he's going to go. He goes Luther Burden. I've been dying for this. Travis Hunter, welcome home. Gosh, I've been trying to get some Travis Hunter for the longest.
How long?
I literally had that. Was
you
literally
not have any share?
Literally none, not one. That was my first one.
Wow, congratulations.
Now Stacks here is in at the turn here.
Stacks.
Drop me Stacks, yeah. Drop me a little gift, Tyler Warren. Okay.
What do you mean Stacks?
No, San Antonio, Texas. Sorry, Figs. My fault.
Oh, okay, right. Let's just call him Figs from now on.
Yeah,
that might be hard. Yo, what's up, Bears? We did do the sleeper draft earlier, my friend. That was one of the first things we did on stream. Yes, sir. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Landing spots from CBS today. You went Caleb Johnson there. PJ went Burden with his first pick. And he goes Loveland.
Yeah,
which lets me take Golden.
You know,
nice.
If I get...
So we get Igbuka and Golden to start. I'm obsessed with that. Well, let's go.
I definitely want to do a one draft where if I'm at the 10, I'm just going to go double tight end.
Yeah, right. Hit Loveland and Warren.
Yeah, I'm just going to do it once if I can. If I get back at the 10 at some point in time.
Well, when this tourney fills, apparently the prize pot is going to be bigger for the next one. And I think they're thinking of doing like a contest during the draft as well.
Yeah, which would be awesome. And if there is a contest during the draft, guys, you guys know we're going to be live. So we're going to be hitting a lot of that up as well to come through.
All right, we see Jaden Higgins come off the board there at the 210. Figs is on the clock here. He went Judkins, then Warren to start his draft. What's up, Jesse? Says, how late would you let Cam Ward fall in a 12-man superflex? If he truly is the number one overall pick, he's worthy of being like the 103 to the 104, in my opinion. In that range, I think makes a ton of sense. As RJ Harvey comes off the board there, then Dylan Sampson.
Let's go. Biggs is getting his guy here. RJ Harvey at the 3-1.
I love me some RJ. What are you doing, PJ? I don't want to show the board yet. Okay, so you go Tootin. Yeah, we're gonna draft some Jalen Royals there then.
Yeah, nice.
All receivers. Wow, that is not what I typically do.
What's for lunch? What should I have for lunch, guys? I'm hungry. It's not lunch yet. It's 11:46, but by the time we're done with this stream, after we review Sean's team, or Shane, excuse me, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
This is Mr. Anderson, right? Shane? Yeah, that's you.
Oh, yeah, Shane, we're going to review your team, by the way, after this. Sorry, dude.
Kangaroo nuggets, fish fillet. That's disgusting.
Yes, Bears. It is the morning for us. That's right. We typically start streaming around 10 a.m., but if the time difference is there, sometimes it's 11 a.m.
Yeah, with the time, we just had daylight savings here. I'm not sure when you guys had that, but we were streaming on at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock our time. I think which was 8 p.m. your time, but now we do it at, I think it's still the same time actually for you, but it's a lot very confusing.
Kyle Williams comes off the board. Brashard Smith, Damian Martinez.
Okay, nice little run there. Let me open up the door.
I know who I want. And I don't want NJ to take him. I don't want Marvin to take him either, please. All right, Jaden Blue comes off the board. Devin Neal at 309 is kind of crazy.
I think I know who you want as well. There's 2 people. Hopefully, I can comes back to me here.
Okay, Marv goes Woody.
Marks.
And that's perfect because I wanted to grab some Jordan James.
Yeah, that's okay.
Welcome on board here at the 407, brother, man.
Dane Bluger, RB7.
Shane, I saw your DM as well, so we'll definitely include that in the review, my friend. I appreciate you upgrading it to the live status as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Dynasty Dude says, is there anything you guys miss about the U.S. on a daily basis besides family?
Yeah. I mean, obviously family's number one, like you said, but besides family, I would just say the accessibility to things. I feel like here in Australia, sometimes it's hard to get things, or you have to wait a little bit longer, you know. And when I say longer, I think it's getting better for sure. But I would definitely say food is something that I miss. You know, I miss, you know, I don't know, New York pizza. I miss having like American Chinese food, which they don't have over here. I miss like having my family's food, like my grandma's food or my mom's food. I miss having the ability to go to sports games. Yeah. I genuinely believe if I was doing this in America, I would probably be a season ticket holder to the Giants if I lived in America. Now, is that possible with doing what we do? Probably not, but like I love that idea of being a season ticket holder of a team, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think sports is a big one. For me, it's kind of interesting because the food I do miss, but most of the food that I miss, I shouldn't be eating anyway. So it kind of is good for me in that sense, you know? Like I shouldn't be eating that food anyway. Yeah, but I definitely would echo I think just the live events, like the live events, the live sports events is what I miss the most.
That'd be awesome.
Me and my wife lived in LA in 2019, and I was about a 15-minute drive from Staples Center, and that was before it went to Crypto Arena. And if you guys have ever used the app Game Time, you guys may or may not have ever used the app Game Time, but Clipper games, nobody goes to Clippers games, okay? And of course, they just got their new arena this year. But when I was living there, the Clippers still played at Staples Center. So I would pretty much any night there was a game on and I was free, I would drive to Staples Center, I'd park, and then as I was walking into Staples Center, I would buy a ticket on Game Time for a nosebleed for like $3. And then once I was in there, I would spend the first quarter in the nosebleeds identifying seats that were available in the lower sections. And then as the first quarter ends and everyone comes back in with their food, I would just walk right back in, sit in the seats in the nosebleeds, and have like the best time ever. I mean, the amount of, I saw Dame with the Blazers score like 50 points. And I was pretty much courtside is what it felt like to me, at least. So that's the part that I missed the most. Because I think like for my birthdays and like special events, I think I would prefer to like go to sporting events, but I just don't want to go into any of the sporting events here.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And yeah, I get that. I think sports is a big
football,
thing, especially for
NBA,
what we do.
NFL,
loving
even hockey.
The ability to go there, to go to those games. Even though I doubt we would actually go to NFL games, often, because if we were to do this in America, we would miss so much.
We couldn't.
Yeah, we would just miss so much of what happens on a Sunday, and then you guys come back and be like, so what do you think about this? And be like, actually, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, love it.
Well, why do we move from America? You know, it's a question we get a lot. I think I kind of didn't ever want to take like the traditional, not that there's anything wrong with it, by the way, but I didn't really want to take like the traditional, you know, like go to college and then, I don't know. I just wanted to do something different than what was kind of presented to me at that time. I didn't want to just go to a university. I didn't really have a passion to do that, and I wanted to, you know, kind of explore. So studied overseas and then ended up just falling in love with being here. I think my biggest suggestion to anyone who's young and who is going to study soon, like college and university, I think maybe the best thing you can do for your life is to live abroad for at least 6 months to a year. I think it
changes your it changes your perspective on everything. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously we're American. Yeah. America's its own bubble.
Yeah.
And I can probably say there's people in here that's never left America and thinks you revolve around the world, which is nothing wrong with that, but that's actually not the case. That's just because that's what's fed to us. Because I was just like that. I was like, nah, America. I'm from New York, so I'm thinking I have the world here. Why would I go anywhere else?
I'm from Brooklyn.
But yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from the streets. Nah, but I don't know. I think if I didn't leave New York, I think of my family. It's like, why would I go? Why would I go anywhere else? I'm in New York. There's the melting pot of America. You can get Mexican, Chinese, Asian food. You can go to Little Italy. You can go Chinatown. You can go to there's like a Croatian street. Like you can do whatever you want. It's like,
yeah,
that's cool. You know, but like, have you actually traveled?
Yeah. No, I just think you learning how other people live in the world and what matters to them. You know, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me about Australia is I think, and I might say this incorrectly, but I feel like in America we kind of live to work. If that makes sense.
I think 100%.
Kind of ingrained from birth, and we work hard. I work my ass off. Badaki works his ass off. That's not a problem for us. But
yeah, there's something wrong with the way. Sorry, continue.
But in Australia, I think people work just so they can live, like they can enjoy their lives, if that makes sense. Like a simple thing, by the way, like any company that you work full time for in Australia, they have to give you an entire month of paid time off. That's not the case in America. So, yeah.
Yeah, it just also depends on the company that you work for. I feel like, and then we could probably end it and go to Anderson's team review. But like, I used to work for an insurance company, and I would be like 5 minutes late because the train was messed up.
Yeah.
And they will sit me down and be like, "Is there something wrong? What's wrong?"
Yeah.
Like, why are you 5 minutes late? Or why is this and that? Like here, you could be 20 minutes late and be like, you know what? That's okay. Like we understand things happen. I think it's how they respond here and how relaxed this is. But they're also still very like to the point, like, all right, let's get stuff done. But like they're not gonna harp on you of something that you can't control, where I feel like in America is very different. But anyways.
But anyway, appreciate you, Matt. He says new logo is sick. Appreciate you big time. We are gonna transition. This is the last part of today's stream. This is also our last stream of the week. So we did a team review earlier for my Balzac Ertz, if you guys saw that. Now we're doing a team review for Shane Anderson. I will say this, we have no limitations on, if you guys are out there and you want to get your team reviewed tonight, we can do that for you, basically, okay? So if you're out there, you want to get your team playbook, you want to get it done tonight, well, we can review your team live and then give you your team playbook graphic afterwards. All you got to do is become a LAND, promo code LAND, annual Mother Flocker member on the Flock site. You'll get a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. Obviously, you choose Zach and Badaki from Fantasyland, and then your voucher will make the offline version free. It'll make the live version just $7 as an upgrade. And if you're a member on a different promo code, let's say you use promo code FLOCK, you can still get a team review from us. You can still get a team playbook. You just go through the same process, but you won't have a voucher at checkout, okay? So, again, plenty of spots for a same-day review. No pressure. If you're watching this later, it's a great time to sign up because you're going to be first on the queue. Did one earlier. Second one for today's stream is from Shane Anderson. Let's go ahead and
Mr. Anderson.
Let's get into it. Shane, I know you're here with us, aren't you?
Yeah, Mr. Anderson, if you're here, we appreciate you. One, not only for the support, but just being here, being you.
Yeah.
But yes, let us know if you have anything that you want to contribute or jump in or you left out.
Yeah.
But 2 quarterback, 10 teams, start 11. That's a rolling deep type of format here.
10 team. I think this is how you should operate in a 10 team personally. I think if you're in a smaller league, especially 8, but yeah, even 10, I think you should have deeper starting lineups to kind of make sure that skill gap is still there.
In the context here, saying what's up, fellas, back again with my home league for the 3rd year in a row. Got to the semifinals and had Kyler Brock sell out for less than 15 combined points. I'm sorry about that. I think a lot of us were in that
without
position.
the S, brother.
There might not be much, but maybe you guys can find a possible cherry on top to get me to the chip. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. You're currently ranked 2nd out of 10. So it's a 10-man league. 2nd out of 10 here.
No
And let's have a look.
premium.
No tight end premium. Let's have a look at your team here. 2023-year-olds. Kyler Murray, Michael Penix, Brock Purdy. Good quarterback room.
Yeah.
You don't really have to do anything. You got Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson with Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason. Phenomenal running back room there.
That's one of the best running back rooms I've seen in the last couple of weeks on these reviews.
Go check out my Lima teams. The same thing, brother. Come on. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 6 wide receivers. Okay, here's your starting 6: Puka, Chris Olave, Jordan Addison, J-Mo, Shakir, and Jaden Reed. With Trey McBride, and you don't have your 25 first or second, but you do have your 26 second. Or first, excuse me. So
yeah, this is one of those teams where the only weakness really is at wide receiver, but you have enough depth to not really call it a weakness for a start 11. It's just there's not as many top end names. If you think about your starting lineup, it's probably, who knows? It's one of those 2 quarterbacks, right? Let's just say Kyler, Purdy for now, Gibbs, Bijan, Puka, Olave, McBride, and then you need to start 4 more names after that, which would probably be Chuba, Addison, Jameson, and then Shakir or Reed. So the depth is fine. I wish you had like one more name. Well, with 3 quarterbacks, I think we have flexibility. I guess I would like to maybe think about using that 2026 first round pick to go out and contend right now, which would make this a Windows open roster. I'd like to attack wide receiver and let's say package Addison in a first. Probably makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Or Reed in a first, Shakir in a first, and go out there and try and just get one more impact name. I think you have the depth to play that. And then also, if injuries are a big problem, you have enough quarterbacks to kind of tear off of one, I think, as well. But overall team grade, it's a good team. I mean, I probably put it at like A-.
Yeah, I'm happy with the A-. I think draft capital probably like a C-.
Yeah.
I'll give him a C because he still has the 26 first. For untouchables, Shane, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Puka Nacua. Holds, let me know what you think,
I would
Zach.
put McBride there too, actually, after his contract, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. We could put 4. Trey McBride. Holes, I put Jordan Mason.
Yes.
I got Isaiah Likely and maybe Chris Olave.
Yeah, those are good holds. Drops, you can drop Rondale, you can drop Trey Palmer, you can drop Madison for sure. Probably Rashawn after the draft, but we'll wait and see. And on your waiver wire, Ray Davis has to be a priority pickup. He should be rostered in every league for sure. So I'd say Ray Davis, priority pickup. Boutte, Barner will be my top 3 names. You could also put Kareem and Miles there if you wanted. You can probably drop Dalton and Dobbs to clear more space if you wanted to, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, Jesse is asking you to trade the 103 to him in Alpha, Shane.
And
So
Alpha.
it's time to get on the phone there in the DMs.
Alpha. Come on. I remember Shane did send us some trades.
Yes.
Let me pull that up really fast. Okay. Trade since last team review. So you traded Deshaun Watson and got Jaden Reed. I think that's great. You traded away Jason and Kincaid for Puka. I think that's good, especially having McBride. You traded my first for Dobbins plus Mason. Don't hate me. This was Max Jordan Mason hype. Oh no. Wait, how was that was Max Jordan Mason hype?
Am I reading this right? Okay, so yeah, right. The Reed trade's great. The Puka trade's great. My first for Dobbins and Mason. Yeah. Okay, that's
Is this like was this in season?
I imagine this was in season because Dobbins and Mason were both startable names.
Both startable names, exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. During the season when CMC was down. Okay. That's fair. I thought this was like recent because of the
That's probably one of those trades where if you had reached out to us, we probably would have been like, nah, let's not do that. I mean, I had plenty of people trying to send me Jordan Mason and Dobbins for first round picks. Not together, but just like separately in certain formats. I love the Chuba deal though.
Yeah, Chuba's great. That's exactly what we would have told you to done. Getting us sending a second for Chuba, which is perfect, and then he sent Ferguson for likely in a second. Which Michael Penix.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Haha. And hopefully, I played a part in you getting your Penix share last year. I was very bullish on him.
That's awesome.
After the draft, everyone was kind of freaking out. I was like, guys, this is you're never gonna have an opportunity like this again to get a guy like this in the second round. So hopefully I played a part. If not, it doesn't really matter. You still got him, and that's great. I would say I'm a big fan of every trade outside of the Dobbins Mason one. You know, that's really the only trade I would say was bad.
Where was that first? Out of curiosity. I mean, look, it's not going to make it any better.
I guess where 11.
Yeah.
Which, like, look, if Dobbins gets that Najee contract instead of Najee, maybe you're not that upset about it, but
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't really do anything with this draft capital. Let's not really waste our time. That's not going to be the meat of this review. I think what I'd like to do is probably use your 26 first and Jordan Addison. And maybe we shouldn't, because Addison's a really quality starter in a start 11, but I just want to see what's possible. But we can try Jaden Reed. I don't think it'll give you the same pull.
I guess I was just thinking maybe like I was thinking more 1-for-1, but if you're trying to utilize somebody, because I want to, in the start 11, I want to keep the Shakiras, I want to keep the Reeds just to see what happens. So like my initial thought doing a first for, like, I'm assuming this is going to be like a late first, right? So like.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to have much power on its own. You know,
I get that.
I mean, let's think about it at the moment, right? How many players are on your bench? You'd have Murray, Penix, Gibbs, Bijan, Puka, Olave, McBride, Addison.
You're frozen again, by the way, but no pressure.
Shakir, and then Chuba. So you're gonna have Mason, Reed on your bench. At least Mason and Reed. Yeah, I might be done unfreezing this because it's happening every 3 minutes. So
that's totally fine.
I probably am not gonna address it again. It's so annoying.
That's okay. I'm gonna use the bathroom really fast. I'll be back. Go ahead.
That's all right. Yeah, let's just explore. I mean, is there anyone that's a clear rebuilder? Who would you say is the clear rebuilder in your league if there is one? Team 3 has a lot of capital. They don't seem like a clear rebuilder though. Maybe there is no rebuilder on your team. What does Triple P have? No, he's got no one really interesting. Oh man, help me out, Shane. Who do you think is the main person looking for picks? 4-11 or bust. Okay. So they have like Ayuk, Jefferson, Smith, Godwin, Downs. If you could find your way into Benson Ayuk, and we keep the Jordan Addisons, then we're totally fine here. So Trey Benson plus Brandon Ayuk. If you can send your 26 first away, and then maybe we can add something else, like a Dobbins, likely, you know. So it's actually the other way around here. You know, I think something like that's very possible. People are very low on Ayuk right now. I think it's a great buy low. In fact, it's a great time to buy wide receivers. Why? Well, go watch the video that comes out on Monday, because it's going to change Dynasty as we know it, I think. I know that sounds dramatic, but I really do believe that. So, I love that idea. They're getting an Ayuk Benson. I think that is maybe the most ideal outcome for you. And then he gets to add draft capital. Let's see. Are there any other teams that might be willing to play ball? El Camino. Probably not. No one really interesting there. I'd love to get my hands on Nico Collins, but I don't think it's possible. See, that's probably an example where I would be willing to move Addison. I mean, obviously, I prefer to move Reed or Shakir, but that's a good example of like a player that's acquirable in leagues that you can maybe try to snag. I love the idea of like Ricky. I'm not so sure actually. Like no, that's not gonna work. Let's keep looking. Higgins would be great, but I don't think you have the pull in a deal like that. It's not like a perfect fit, if that makes sense. Garrett Wilson's pretty interesting. DJ Moore actually I think is perfect for your roster. It's going to be a late first. I think DJ Moore is actually really ideal for you. Yeah. I think that actually makes a ton of sense. Do you think a tier up in a quarterback is possible? Maybe. And by the way, guys, I see you guys in the chat. I'm just trying to give Shane his time to shine. I mean, he's spent, you know, he's become an annual member. He's supported us monetarily, you know, and I want to make sure he gets his time to shine here. So I'm going to give him my undivided attention for now. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to like I want to keep Purdy Murray, but if you, or sorry, Purdy Penix. But if you can tack on that 26 first and Kyler Murray, I'd be super interested to see what would be possible in your league. So again, thinking about the teams that are rebuilding, Drake May, that's probably too much, but what if it was like May and the 201, for example? That would be incredible. You can even add on a J.K. Dobbins or a likely there if you could get that done. That's probably not possible. So let's keep looking. That's not a perfect fit. That guy already has a ton of quarterbacks too. Let's see. The difficult part is the distribution of quarterbacks in your league makes this very difficult to do. I mean, look, I would do it for Jalen Hurts. I'm not sure it's possible. It's also not a great time to buy quarterbacks, to be honest with you. Watch the video that comes out on Monday, and it'll tell you exactly why, but it's not a very good time to go out and buy quarterbacks. It's a great time to sell them. So I don't think that's in your favor right now. He says, the guy who had McCarthy was interested in Kyler straight up. Should I add a piece, or is that too much? Yeah, I would love the idea. Okay, so what does the Kyler Murray have? Sorry, what does the JJ McCarthy owner have? Because maybe we can do some sort of 2 for 2. Okay. So, can you find your way into a Dunze? That would be perfect, dude. Okay, so JJ McCarthy plus a Dunze. That's the best trade I've come up with for your team. No doubt about it. That would be clutch. If you think you can get more in a, like a one-on-one straight up, then let's see what that could look like. I think you might be able to ask for like the 203 and then send back Kyler, and what's your third? It's like the 308. You could try that, but I don't think you're going to be able to do much with a straight up deal as far as like getting extra value on top. This guy could be interesting though. He already has 2 firsts in 2026. I genuinely think that the McCarthy Adunze trade is the best one we've come up with for you. Kind of obsessed with that. It accomplishes 2 goals at once.
You see, yeah. I'd say I like the DJ Moore one. That's something that I was gonna do straight up.
Yeah, DJ makes a ton of sense.
Which makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I guess I'm just a really big believer, specifically on Shakira. So like, obviously, if you want my 2 cents, Shane, I like Shakira. If they do draft the wide receiver, I don't really think it's gonna impact them unless they get like a Mika and Buka. So I think he's gonna be a consistent, good flex option, especially in a rolling deep type of league that you do have. But obviously, I love Nico Collins as well. So, and that's going to be a late first. But doing that with Jaden Reed, I think is great for Nico.
Yeah.
26 first for Jalen Hurts. Yeah, right. Makes sense.
Yeah. But again, I would definitely be cautious of tearing up for quarterbacks right now, like the Hurts type of format. Only reason I say that is because it's really not a good time of the year to do that. And again, the video that comes out on Monday will explain that in detail. And Shane, because you're a LAN member, make sure you're synced on Discord, because on Monday, a very exciting LAN exclusive is going to hit your Discord, and I think it could fundamentally change the way you trade in your Dynasty leagues. Unfortunately, it's going to make it even more incredibly difficult for us to trade in leagues.
Yep.
Because you guys have our rankings. You use those rankings against us in the trade calculator, and now we're giving you this piece of information that we could have held to ourselves, but is what it is. Want to make sure you guys get the most bang for your buck. But that's how I'd approach it, Shane. Please let me know if you have any questions, man. If there's anything else that I didn't cover well enough, we didn't cover well enough that you had questions about, this is your time to shine. You have the floor, my friend.
Yeah. And as you're throwing any questions in, I'll let you know that you should be getting your playbook within 48 to 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy Message system there, with everything that we drew up for you here today, customized to your team. Appreciate you, Shane. Thank you so much for the support. But yeah, throw in any last minute questions you have or anything that you want us to have a look over. Yeah, but
absolutely.
Huge love.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So someone asked a great question in the Discord today. Brizzleton said, who's your favorite offensive and defensive player of all time? And I said, offensive, it would be either Jamal Charles or Randy Moss, and then defense would be Sean Taylor. And then we had a bunch of answers from different people, and people kept saying Calvin Johnson. I was like, actually, watching Calvin Johnson was like a spiritual experience. Like, that was a game-changing experience watching him play football. So that's a pretty damn good answer. What would be the answer, though? No, Shane, sorry, just quickly. Sending your 26 first away is not a problem. This team is very clearly ready to compete. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch my video on the 26 class. In fact, I made 2 videos in the past couple weeks on it. And I think a team like yours who's ready to compete could benefit from probably sending that pick away and trying to get an asset for today, right? I actually put that link in the chat here for you if you want to go watch that video.
Yeah. Favorite defensive player would definitely
let's ask the chat before we end the stream. Okay, so favorite offense and defense player of all time. And
okay,
you know,
so all
like
time,
it would be easy to say Barry Sanders or like, come on, we didn't watch. I wasn't old enough to watch Barry Sanders, so I can't say Barry Sanders because, like, come on, like
100%. For me,
I can't say Jim
I'm a Giants
Brown.
fan, so it's Giants people.
Yeah,
for me, is Michael Strahan. I thought he took him and Justin Tucker on the Giants at that time was just prime. And then offensively, there's probably 2. It's probably Odell. Maybe there's 3. I felt like the Victor Cruz era was amazing. Now,
that's funny.
Was he my favorite player of all time? Probably not, but like just that point in time, I thought was so good. So Victor Cruz, Odell, and then Saquon Barkley, of course.
Okay.
Which he's now in Eagles, but yeah.
Yeah, Kate says, I said Sean Taylor and Charles Woodson. That's a good one. Champ Bailey was really fun to watch. Evie says, as a Lions fan, Calvin never winning a playoff game will forever haunt me. Yeah, and also the Lions not paying him out whatever money he
That's
was owed
crazy.
or whatever was crazy
That's
too.
crazy. I think thinking about the Lions now and not paying Calvin Johnson would have been like
Wild.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Kevin, Bears says, as a Bears fan, the fact that the NFC North has had Justin Jefferson and Calvin Johnson makes me mad. Yes, and you guys have had, well, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze.
But you also had Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson.
Well, I was more saying their team, though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get that.
What's up, Kevin? He says, am I crazy for taking Hunter over Hampton at the 102 since the running class is super deep and the wide receiver class isn't? It's not what I would do, my friend. I would never, I would always take the best player available at every pick. And if you determine that by your own rankings or historical drafts, hit rates or, whatever, for draft capital, that's how I would do it. But I would never pass on a player just because, I can get a different position later. No, I'm taking the best player available at every pick at all times. Kevin says Demaryius Thomas and Clay Matthews was his favorite players. Rest in peace, Demaryius. He was fun to watch with that.
Hey, Matthews was cool too. Yeah.
Evie says Tomlinson and Brian Dawkins. So yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson was the most popular pick in the Discord, which makes sense. I got a LaDainian Tomlinson jersey, and I grew up a Chiefs and Commanders fan, and I got a LaDainian Tomlinson jersey. Like, how could you not be in love with that guy? Wyatt says offense, Terrell Davis, I believe that is. Defense, John Lynch. I'm a Broncos fan. Okay, I love it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Cade says, you young bucks, I would say Shady McCoy. In my opinion, the way that dude was light on his feet was fun to watch.
I remember Shady. I know Shady. I feel like I was in.
Shady is not. Shady is not like an old head pool.
We're not that young either.
Yeah, Shady's not an old head pool. If you were like, in my day, Jim Brown, I'd be like, okay, you're old. Respect to you, pops. But come on, Shady McCoy, that's not a pool. Let's be real. But I love the answer. He was so fun to watch. I'll never forget the snow game from LaShawn McCoy with the Bills.
Yes, I was literally about to say the snow game is iconic.
Yeah. Mott says Tomlinson and Revis. Okay, I like that. Randy Moss, Matt, that was one of my answers too. Adrian Peterson. Oh, that's a good one. I feel like everyone loved Adrian Peterson. That MVP season was crazy. As a young fan, my favorite defensive player was either Urlacher or Khalil Mack. Urlacher was like, he was Chicago for a long time. Yeah. All right, guys, look, that is it for today. We appreciate you big time. For anybody who jumped on and got into a rookie mock draft with us, who dropped a like, who watched our video today that just released, who signed up to FastDraft or, submitted a team playbook, became an annual member. Appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for love. Thank you for the support. You guys are a real reason we're able to keep the lights on here. And that is it for today's stream. And, we'll see you guys here very soon. Nothing but love. We'll see you next week.
Love.